Hello, I am Courtney Henderson, athletic counselor at Butler High School.
Okay, and today we are going to be asking Ms. Henderson some questions about racial stereotyping and discrimination. To start off, what does it mean to be African American in society today for you?
So, being African American in society today is a two-part system.
Okay.
Part of it is pride. I'm happy to be a black woman. I'm happy to be in leadership. I'm happy to be an educator and have influence in the lives of young people. I'm also happy that I get to have my own children who I can pour into and kind of teach them what they need to know about what it is to be African American in this society. But it's also a constant struggle at the same time. So there's a pride side, but there's also a side of struggle and kind of just a struggle, just a fight, because even though there have been so many advancements in the lives of black people in this country, we're still not where we need to be as a people, and oftentimes society plays a big role in that. Our relationships, our interactions with other people, and what we do for the next generation coming up, that all has a role to play in that. So there's a sense of pride, but there's also a big struggle as well.
Okay. And then, how have you personally seen or experienced racial stereotyping or discrimination, and what were your feelings or opinions about the situation?
So, stereotyping and racism, when I was in college, that was my first experience personally with racism, when I was actually called the N-word for real, like no apparent reason, by an older white guy. But it's what I'm learning now as a more mature adult is that it's not always like being called the N-word or something like that. It's the microaggressions that are really most damaging, I think, even particularly at Butler High School. So with some of our minority students here who want to take honors or AP classes, some of them are really discouraged from doing, or feel discouraged from doing it, because they don't feel like there are enough people who look like them in those classes. They don't really feel like they'll relate to people in the classes.
Right.
And they've been told things like, "What are you doing in this class?" or "I didn't know you were smart," or things like that. I've also heard, again, here at the high school, some things that teachers have said to students that have made them really uncomfortable and embarrassed, or just made them feel like they were being treated unfairly and biased, just about who they date, what their hair looks like, their body types. So it's not always being called the N-word or the overt ways of racism. Sometimes it's those small nuances that are taking place that are just as impactful, if not more, because I think that really hurts people's self-esteem more when you want to be seen as not just a black person. You want to be seen as smart or educated or whatever, and people say these small microaggressions that make you feel like you're not.
Okay. And then, what do you think we need to do as a society to decrease racial stereotyping or discrimination?
I think the biggest thing is actually listening to people who have experienced those things. Oftentimes, people who are non-minorities, if they haven't done something or said something that's offensive or racist or biased, they don't think it exists.
Right.
Or if the people in their circle who are minorities haven't told them that they've experienced that, they don't think it's a real thing. So I think having open dialogue like you guys do in African American Studies with people who are not just black people, having those conversations and having a listening ear and being able to listen to what somebody is saying and accept the fact that, okay, just because my perception was different doesn't mean that this stuff isn't happening. I think that's the biggest step. And I think that as our future leaders like yourself are growing up, it's going to really take more of you all to kind of push those old ways of thinking aside and be more open and more, yes.
Yeah.
Because the parents and grandparents, like, they've always kind of held those ideals, and now it's time for them to start retiring and kind of get out the way and let some of those change makers come in and start being more open-minded and more inclusive in their thought and even in their legal perspectives and things like that. So
All right. That is it. Thank you for talking with me today.
you're so welcome.